Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paisley if you're new here. Today I did this makeup look using products that I have been using for years and years, holy grail products that I really wanted to share with you guys. I think sometimes I get overwhelmed with new releases, so I'm sure you guys are getting overwhelmed as well with just like new release after new release. I can't keep up sometimes, and I'm sure you guys can't keep up as well because I get a ton of stuff sent to me for free, which I'm super grateful for. But you guys at home buying things, like there's no way in hell you can buy every single new release that's coming out. So I really wanted to share with you guys products that I know really work, that are really good quality, I've been using for a long time, tried and true products that I wanted to recommend to you. Hopefully they'll work for you too if you do pick them up. Make sure you keep an eye out for part 2 of this video because I'm going to be sharing with you guys the skincare that I use, the hair care, hair color, things like that that aren't as makeup related, but that I also get a ton of questions about. But with that being said, let's just jump right into this tutorial. So I'll just be starting out with primer, and I honestly don't really have a favorite primer. It's not something that I really need for my skin. I mostly just will moisturize my skin and go straight in with a foundation or a concealer, whatever the case, but I don't really need a primer. My skin's pretty dry. I don't really have large pores or anything like that. Sometimes if I have a little bit of texture on my skin, I will go in with a smoothing primer. Recently I've been reaching for the Photo Finish Stick Primer, just because this one's easy to use and I can just swipe it right on my face instead of squeezing some out and then applying it. I don't know, I like easy. But this one, it just like blurs the look of any imperfections in your skin. I just like to apply it on any of my problem areas. That's like my nose. I've got some pores on my nose, a little bit of texture around my chin, and then I just like to press it in with my fingers. If you have too much primer in one spot, it will be too slippery and it might make your foundation slip around or break down in one spot, so just pressing it in with your fingers will help smooth everything out. These 3 products right here are my all-time favorite skin products. They've just been working really well for my dry skin. They give me really smooth, even coverage, but they also help to cover up my acne scarring. The Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick Foundation is really great for when you're in a rush and you just need to apply your foundation really quickly. You can just swipe this one on. It's a dewy finish, and the colors in this range are really good for, like, if you have yellow undertones, you can go for the Y shades, and if you've got pink undertones, you can go for the red shades. So I really like that they have the yellow shades. I'm quite yellow. I think a lot of ranges, they just try to stay more neutral, and when you mix like the yellow and the cool, it kind of just tends to be a little orangey. I do not like looking orangey or peachy, so I really like that they've got a true yellow shade range for this one. But I think for today I'm going to be using what I've been using recently, and that is the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation and my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. So the Nars one, their shade range is another story. They don't really have a super light yellow undertone foundation. This one is in the shade Gobi, and it's a little too dark for me, but then I mix it with my Tarte Shape Tape and Fair, and it really evens out and gives me like the perfect shade. So I'm going to be going ahead and just applying that to my skin. So then I'm going to go ahead and apply my Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair, just under my eyes, around my chin, forehead, just to bring some light back into my skin. And I find that this Tarte Shape Tape is my perfect shade match, so I was using this as a foundation for a really long time, especially when I had acne. This literally got me through my acne days. It has such incredible coverage. I've gone through like probably 10 tubes of this, and this is my last one that I currently have, so I really need to order more, but I fucking love Tarte Shape Tape. If you guys have dogs or cats, you probably know the struggle of always having like a single pet hair on your face, and then you have to grab it off and just ruin beautiful foundation that you just applied. Happens to me every single time. So right after I do my foundation, I don't set it or anything yet. I don't apply blush yet. I like to let it settle into my skin, dry down naturally on its own before I apply anything on top of it. I just find that works really well for me. So while that is happening, I like to do my eyebrows. And for my eyebrows, My holy grail for a really, really long time has been the Anastacio Dip Brows. So I do have the shade Caramel here, which is the one for kind of like auburn hair, but it's actually not quite perfect enough for me. So I have been using this one from Morphe. They came out with a bunch of shades, and this one's in the shade Almond. And it's very, very similar to the Caramel Dip Brow, but this one just has like the slightest more reddish tint to it, which I need because my eyebrows are pretty cool toned. Like, my hair is not naturally red, so my eyebrows are kind of cool toned, so I like having a slightly more reddish, warm toned brow product to help warm that up. And I think this would work for a lot of redheads as well. It's really like a great auburn brow product. So I like to gel my brows up first, and I'm using the Anastacio Clear Brow Gel to do that. I've been using this for a really long time and I just adore it. I've repurchased it bunch of times. I think Anastacio makes the best brushes for doing eyebrows. I haven't found anything better. They just have the slimmest point at the top, and I love having the spoolie on the back of it. So this is actually the brush 7B, but all of the Anastacio angled brushes that I've tried are really, really good, so it doesn't really matter which one you buy, I don't think. Once the brow gel has dried down, I just brush through my eyebrows again with the spoolie end of the brush, just to break up any deposits of product and, I don't know, just make sure they're not too stiff in any areas. And then I just do like a line underneath. I like a pretty straight eyebrow, so that's what we're gonna go for today. So I'm just gonna be filling in this big bare patch right here. And then I like to just make sure my tail is quite straight, extended right at the end. I don't like to curve it down too much. I think it makes my eyes look droopy-ish. And then just like with whatever is left on the brush, I just will pull that through the rest of the brow, make sure that's blended, fill in any other gaps that are there. So now that my brows are done, I'm going to return to doing my face makeup, and for that I'm going to use some blush. And I honestly don't have a holy grail blush, which is really, really surprising because blush is one of my favorite makeup products. I absolutely love all kinds of blush. I have a ton of favorites, so that's why I couldn't narrow it down to one. In general though, the color palette that I like is a more coral, glowy blush. I don't really like pink on myself, or cool tone blushes. I tend to stick to more warm tone blushes. So yeah, with that being said, I think I'm going to use a little bit of from this Morphe palette. This one right here, nice and peachy. So I had a question about how I am pale, but I don't look like a corpse. I know that's something a lot of pale people struggle with. And basically my answer to that is applying a shit ton of blush. It really brings life back to your face and livens you up, makes you look like you're flushing, makes you look like you've been doing some exercise maybe, which I definitely don't do. But yeah, I think using blush just really brightens up a face, and I know I've been accused of using too much blush before. I don't really care. I like a lot of blush, to each their own. I think it wears off a lot throughout the day, so I tend to apply maybe a little bit more when I first apply it because I know it's going to fade a little bit throughout the day. But yeah, using blush really makes you look alive and not like a corpse, if that's something you're struggling with, because I know I definitely did. So I know I'm looking a little crazy right now. I promise it will look more normal once I have eye makeup on, lipstick. It just balances out by the end of the tutorial. For contour, I don't do it every day, but if I do contour, a longtime favorite of mine has been the NYX Taupe Blush. It's a really nice cool tone shade and it mimics shadow really, really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply a little bit of this in my cheekbones and under my jaw. Because I don't really have a natural cheekbone for my contour to go in, I find it does get a little bit low sometimes. So I just like to correct that with some loose powder. So I'm going to do that right now, and I just put that right underneath my contour to clean it up a little bit. And for that, my absolute favorite is this Maybelline Fit Me Powder. I have the lid off because I've already got some powder in it, but this Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder is amazing. I have tried Givenchy powders and also the Huda Beauty powders. The packaging is like the exact same as this Maybelline one, which makes me kind of suspicious. I feel like they're all made in the same factory, And this Maybelline one is obviously way cheaper than those other two options, and I think it's my favorite out of them, to be quite honest with you. The Huda Beauty one smelled horrific and gave me terrible headaches. And this Maybelline one is unscented, because why do we need scent in our powders? And it works really well, and the shade is awesome. So Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder is where it's at. So just taking a bunch of that, and I'm going to be cleaning up under my contour. And while I'm at it, I may as well put some under my eyes, just to mattify that concealer and stop the light from reflecting off of it. Just helps hide bags under the eyes if you mattify the area. For my highlight, this is a product that I've been using for literally years, and this is my second one. They last so long, like the pan size is really gigantic, so the product lasts a really long time, but this is my second one that I've owned of this product. This is MAC Soft and Gentle, an amazing, amazing highlighter. I think it's really underrated. I know it used to be one of like the first highlighters that you could get. That's why I found it and loved it so much. It's slightly too dark for me. I wish they would come out with like a Soft and Gentle 2 that was like a little bit lighter than this one. I get so many compliments when I'm wearing a Soft and Gentle highlighter. People asking me like what I use on my skin, what my skincare routine is. It just gives you like such a healthy looking glow to the skin. I absolutely love it. If you apply too much, at least on my skin, you can see like a stripe of color because it's a little too dark, but it just gives like the most healthy glow. I love it so much. I'm gonna go ahead and dust that bake off and just blend it in. To set my skin, I'm a big fan of the Skindinavia setting sprays. Skindinavia actually makes the Urban Decay ones as well, so it's just a great company and they work really well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spray my face. To prime my eyes, I'm going to be using one of my all-time favorite products. This is MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. I have been using this for years and years. I've repurchased it a bunch of times. I use this in my kit as well. So I'm just going to be applying this on my eyelids. And if you have a more pinky undertone skin, you can try Painterly. If you have deeper skin tone than me, you can definitely check out their other shades. I know they have a lovely brown one. They're just great bases to cancel out all of the veins and stuff in your eyes, and they're also just like the perfect tackiness for making your shadows look really amazing and last a long time. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the MAC paint pots. So the eyeshadows that I use aren't really like holy grail products, but they are favorites that I've been reaching for all the time. So basically my criteria for a shadow palette is that it has to be fall tone, because I live fall makeup all year round. That is my everyday, all year round kind of aesthetic. So my palettes have to kind of reflect that. So the newest palette to my collection is actually the Morphe Boss Mood 35M palette, and this literally has every shade you need in here for fall tone makeup. You've got cranberries, oranges, mustards, greens, purples, dark colors. It's so good, and I've been reaching for this pretty much every single day. It's amazing. The quality's amazing. Morphe's really stepped it up. My other two favorites are the Melt palettes that they just came out with recently. So the first one is the Melt 27 palette. So again, all fall colors, golds and oranges and just beautiful warm tone shadows. Because my skin's kind of more warm toned, I definitely stick to warm tone shadows. The other one is the beautiful Melt Gemini palette, and kind of similar with the warm browns in here, mustards, and I love the greens in here. I love an olive green smoky eye. That's just like a really cool look, I think, with my current hair color. So this is my other favorite palette. I don't know, I'm still deciding which one I should use today in the tutorial because they're all honestly incredible and I've been reaching for them every day, and I know they're gonna be holy grail products for me. So I think for today's look, I'm going to be using the mustard shades in the Melt Gemini palette. Kind of want to match this sweater I'm wearing. By the way, this sweater is humongous. Like, I bought it from Boohoo and it was like called an oversized sweater, but it was called a petite oversized sweater, and I'm usually a large in like Forever 21 clothing, and Boohoo I'm using usually an 8. So I got a petite, oversized sweater in size medium large. This is literally like, this would be too big on my mom. She was like, just give me that sweater because it's so cozy looking, but like this is humongous on me. There's so much extra fabric on this thing, but it's so cozy. And I just kind of wanted a yellow sweater to, you know, rock in my Insta pics because every single beauty blogger has been wearing a mustard sweater these days, so I need to add this to my collection. So sorry mom, I think I'm gonna keep it just because I need it for my Insta pics, but yeah, it's humongous. So I think I'm just gonna use 2 colors for this look, and I'm going to just use this one in my crease for a transition shade, and then I'm just going to apply this mustard all over my eyelid and blend it into my crease. It's a pretty easy look, but like from day to day, I'm not really doing like a cut crease on myself. I mean, sometimes I do if I have extra time, but usually I just do a wash of color over my lid. But yeah, just applying like the lighter brown first into my crease. And the quality of Melt Shadows is obviously amazing. If you guys haven't checked out Melt Shadows, you don't need to get the Gemini palette. I know it's kind of an investment, but definitely check out some of their single shadows as well. They're amazing. The Rust Stack is one of my favorites, and it has a mustard shade in there as well called Rubbish. One of my favorites for fall. And like the Rust Stack is just like, you can't really go wrong. It's a lovely neutral palette. But if you do have the money to spend, I would recommend checking out their newer palettes with more shades in them. They're amazing. So now I'm just taking Lorelei and I'm going to pack that on my lid. These shadows are so good and they kind of just blend themselves out, to be honest. Really, really amazing. And then with the same brush, because I'm super lazy and I don't want to wash more brushes than I need to, I already have like probably a stack of 200 brushes that I need to wash right now. So just using the same brush, and I'm going to sweep that color under my eyes. I really like a smoked out lower lash line. Also, I do not have a Holy Grail mascara. It's just something that I've never really found one particular formula or brush to really be better than another. I've definitely tried like crappier formulas or brushes, but for the most part, mascara's mascara, and it doesn't really matter to me which one I'm using. So I've already applied some lashes because I dove into my lash drawer and realized that I've run out of my Holy Grail lashes, which are 2 styles really, the House of Lashes Iconics and the House of Lashes Iconic Lights. I've run out of them and I don't know what to do with myself. I'm basically just counting down the days until the next House of Lashes sale, and I'm gonna stock up on those babies because those are my absolute favorite lashes. So we're pretty much at the end of my Holy Grail makeup products, and that leaves us with lips. And for lips, I don't think it's going to be much of a surprise that my favorite color is dark red. I wear it in most of my Instagram pictures. I've worn it in most of my YouTube videos. I just think a dark red is really flattering with my complexion, my hair color, whatever, and it's fall, so dark red's where it's at. So I have 4 options here, and I'm not really sure which one I'm going to use yet today. This Kat Von D one in Nahz-Fur-Atoo is my Holy Grail. I have been using this forever. This is my second tube of it. It's not too dark a red, like it's not quite as dark as Vampira from Kat Von D, but it's just like the perfect dark red. It's not too in your face. I mean, I don't think it's too in your face, but yeah, Nahz-Fur-Atoo is my fave red from Kat Von D. I wear it all the time. Then of course we have Kat Von D Vampira, which is a super dark red. It almost looks a little bit black on the lips. I really, really like this one for fall when I'm going for more like of a dramatic look. So those 2 are my Kat Von D picks. Then I also have this one, which is a more recent favorite. This is by Lorac Pro, and I got this in my BoxyCharm this month. This is in the shade Deep Burgundy. Every single time I wear this, I've gotten compliments on my makeup and my lipstick. So yeah, it's pretty much a favorite. When people tell you you look good in something, it kind of helps it become a favorite in my books, at least. The last one that I have to share with you guys is by Myth Cosmetics, an amazing little indie brand. This one is in the shade Poison Quartz, and it's the most beautiful red. So I think I'm going to show you guys this one today. Like, look at that pigment. Did you see me just like, boop, my top looks like pretty much done. The formula on this is so good. It takes a little longer to dry down than my other liquid lipsticks, but I don't mind that because it's a really comfortable formula throughout the day. It doesn't really get dry and crack on me. Alright, so this is my finished makeup look using most of my Holy Grail makeup products. Like I said, for some of the categories I didn't really have a Holy Grail item to share with you guys, so I'm sorry about that, but I hope you still got some ideas and some recommendations on some really awesome products to try out. And I actually really like how this turned out. Definitely gonna be taking some pics in this, especially with my mustard sweater. Super Instagram fall aesthetic. You know what I'm trying to say. Alright, cool. So that's it for me, guys. I'm gonna go take some pics of this look for the gram. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you're not subscribed to me, please subscribe. I hope you have a good one, and peace out.